Some people are just born creative. They can draw better, think faster, create effortlessly. And then there's you, trying, struggling, overthinking every detail. So you start to wonder, what if I'm just not talented? And if that's true, what's the point of even trying? But what if I told you, talent is not the thing holding you back? In fact, believing in talent might be the reason you're stuck. We've been told a story, a very convincing one, that creativity is something you either have or you don't. You're either gifted or you're not. And this idea is everywhere. In school, on social media, even in the way we talk about artists. We say things like, they're naturally talented. They were born for this. But there's a problem with that story. It makes creativity feel fixed. And if something is fixed, there's nothing you can do about it. So instead of improving, you start hesitating. Talent feels real because the results are real. You see someone draw better than you, write better than you, create faster than you, and your brain jumps to one conclusion: they have something I don't. But what you don't see is the invisible part, the years of practice, the bad work, the failed attempts. Talent hides the process, and that's why it's dangerous, because it makes hard work look effortless. Let's make this clear. Talent might give someone a head start, but skill determines how far they go. Skill is built, repeated, refined. Talent is static. Skill is dynamic. And creativity is a skill, not a personality trait, not a gift, a process. So why do you feel like you're not creative? It's not because you lack talent. It's because you're comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You're seeing polished results without seeing the messy process behind them. And your brain interprets that gap as a lack of ability. But it's not. It's just a lack of time. Here's something most people don't realize. Not having talent can actually be an advantage. Because when things don't come easily, you're forced to understand the process. You don't rely on instinct. You build systems. You develop awareness. And over time, that makes you more consistent, more intentional, more dangerous. So can you be creative without talent? Yes, but not in the way you think. Because the real question isn't, do you have talent? It's, are you willing to keep creating even when it feels like you don't? Because that's where everything changes. That's where skill is built. That's where identity is formed. And that's where you stop being someone who wants to be creative and become someone who actually is. Not because you were born that way, but because you chose it. And here's where most people get stuck again. Right after they understand this. Right after they realize that talent isn't the problem. They feel motivated for a moment. They tell themselves, I'll just work harder. I'll stay consistent. I'll figure it out. But then something strange happens. They stop again. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because they hit something deeper, something harder to explain. It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of skill. It's resistance. That invisible force that shows up every time you try to create. It tells you, this isn't good enough. People will judge you. You're wasting your time. And the worst part is, it sounds like you. It feels real, logical, convincing. So you listen to it, and you stop. Because deep down, creating isn't just about making something. It's about being seen. Seen for your ideas. Seen for your taste. Seen for who you are. And that's terrifying. Because once something is out there, it can be judged, ignored, rejected. And your brain wants to protect you from that. So it creates excuses. Perfectly reasonable ones. I need to improve more first. I'm not ready yet. I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. What you call perfectionism is often just fear in disguise. It's not about making something perfect. It's about avoiding the moment where your work meets reality. Because reality is unpredictable and imperfect and uncontrollable. So instead of finishing things, you keep adjusting, tweaking, restarting, staying safe.